Hey guys, what's up? It's Casey. Welcome to my channel, Casey Mindful. I have purple hair. New hair, same girl. But today I wanted to talk to you guys about the practice of non-attachment. So I'm a yoga teacher by trade, but there's so much more to the practice than just the poses. And I hope to share just a little bit of that with you today and how it can actually better your life. So in this video, I'm going to explain what non-attachment really means, common misconceptions around the philosophy, and then also ways that you can practically apply it to your daily life. So in Buddhism, one of the Four Noble Truths has to do with how our attachment to desire is the root of all suffering. So it's not necessarily that desire itself causes suffering, but it's the attachment to that desire, the story you make up in your head of how it should go or what it should be. But as humans, we seem to have a natural tendency to try and cling to things that make us happy as if they are permanent. But in reality, everything is in a constant state of change. And so you might have noticed a pattern in your life of like a roller coaster. You find something that makes you happy and you cling to it, but as soon as it's gone and you can't control people or people walking out on you or objects, buying things to make you happy forever. Once that thing doesn't make you happy anymore, you're back down and you are ultimately giving away your own ability to make yourself happy. Instead of searching within yourself for that happiness, you are depending on all these external factors, and by doing that, you're setting yourself up for failure. One of the most common misconceptions around the concept of the practice of non-attachment is that non-attachment means that you are detached or indifferent. And this couldn't be more wrong. And so I wanted to read this quote that I think illustrates this perfectly. And it says that non-attachment refers to the state of mind of being objective and not clinging, and it springs from a deep consideration of the conditions of human existence. Not being attached to success and failure or pleasure and pain brings you back into connection with the only thing that is invariably present, stable, and safe: your center of pure awareness and love. And so, with that said, practicing non-attachment is not learning to stop caring, but rather learning to care deeply without limitations and love unconditionally, because you create the reality in which those feelings depend on nothing and nobody except yourself. You don't love for selfish reasons based on how that person makes you feel. You love because you just are love. In my own personal life, I've found that practicing non-attachment has given me an incredible sense of freedom. I spent most of my life emotionally attached to everyone and everything, and if me and my boyfriend broke up or something big changed, I was always afraid of change because it would send me into this deep, dark pit of sadness. And now I'm much more able to cope with the impermanence of life because I can connect to the present moment and find bliss in the present moment and surrender that which I cannot control. So with that said, I wanted to provide you guys some practical ways that you can begin to implement the practice of non-attachment, because it can seem kind of esoteric, I guess is the word for it, or just like an idea, and it's hard to make it something concrete in your life. But my biggest tip is that you have to take responsibility. No one can make you feel a certain way unless they're holding a gun to your head. You control how you are feeling. And, that's easier said than done. You can always, point a finger at someone. Well, he broke my heart, and so I'm heartbroken and depressed. But by realizing that it's our responsibility to take care of ourselves and that we have a choice, it's empowering and gives you so much freedom instead of just riding this wave of emotions and letting everything in life dictate how you feel. And so you have to shift the focus to yourself, away from everyone else, everything else, and you have to fill your own damn cup. Don't depend on all of these material things or external circumstances to fill your cup. You need to fill your own cup. And so, a few techniques to bring yourself to the present moment instead of, being stuck in the past and thinking about how could I have changed this, how could I have prevented this, or worrying about the future, but finding bliss in the present moment. And so a few ways you can do that. And I'm not saying not to feel your feelings, because this feeling what you are feeling is okay, and you need to validate those feelings, but you need to take responsibility for them. And so a few ways you can come into the present moment, feel what you feel, and take responsibility is yoga, of course, meditation, journaling. You can bring yourself to the present moment whenever you feel yourself, bubbling up in anger or sadness. Go through all of your senses, what do you see? What do you smell? Taste, hear, feel. Bring yourself here. And then also pranayama, or breathing techniques. If you feel yourself becoming flustered, you can come back to the breath, taking slow, deep breaths in, deep breaths out, or even practicing alternate nostril breathing, which looks something like this. You place fingers on your opposite nostrils. You close one, breathe in, close that one, breathe out, and then you repeat that. And so that's a great way to center yourself and to calm yourself when you start to feel emotions bubbling. You're taking control of your emotions. And finally, examine the story that you are telling. And so what I mean by that is we all rationalize events and feelings in our heads by completing the story of our lives. It's kind of like if you were in a movie and someone was watching the story of your life. How are you seeing that? And I think this is easiest when done by journaling, but if you can do that in your head, props to you. And so figure out, what is the story that you're telling? I'm feeling this way. Why am I feeling this way? How did I get here? And possibly see where you are directing the blame. And then working through that. So I hope this clarified things around what attachment means. that it's not about, disengaging from life or not caring, but it's deeply caring and taking responsibility for how you feel in your own life. Thanks, guys. I hope you all have a beautiful day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you next time.